Hello friends, how are you guys today? I hope you guys are all having an amazing day so far. If you're not having an amazing day, I really hope that your day gets better from here on out. Welcome to my channel, you guys. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you enjoy this video, but if you don't enjoy it, I hope you at least find it informative and give it a chance. So today we are going to go through all of the highlights of day 13 of the Johnny Depp defamation trial. We're going to do it just like yesterday. I'm just going to go through all the testimonies real quick and give you all the highlights of everything that happened today in court, and that's about it. I'm just trying to give you guys highlights of every day and keep it short and sweet, not super long. So why don't you guys sit back, relax, and let's get into day 13. Okay, so day 13 starts out with Nurse Erin again. She was Amber's nurse, and she was Johnny's witness, but for some reason, Amber's legal team started the questioning. So Johnny's team finished today. So Amber's legal team did all the questioning yesterday, and they were done, and now Johnny's team is doing their questioning. So they start off today with questioning Amber's nurse. They asked her if she is supposed to report any kind of abuse that she sees or suspects. She said yes. As you guys know, teachers, doctors, and people like that, they have a legal obligation to report abuse if they suspect abuse or see any abuse. So she said yes, she is supposed to report abuse, and she never reported any abuse for Amber, even though Amber claimed to be injured by Johnny Depp. So Amber told her that Johnny Depp injured her, and she still never told anybody, or she never reported those claims to any authority figure. So Amber actually told this nurse that she had a bloody lip, and it was a result of her fighting with Johnny Depp. She said that she did see the blood on her lip, I mean, she didn't see any bruising or anything like the other marriage doctor said, but she said she did see blood on her lip. Yesterday we went through the pictures that Amber sent her as well. She said that when she was treating Amber, Amber had a cyst on her eyelid, and her cyst had to be surgically removed. And that was really intriguing to me, because I was like, okay, when was this cyst on her eyelid? When did she have to get it surgically removed? Because if she had to get surgery on her eyelid, then her eyelid is going to be all red and puffy and swollen, and I'm sure she probably took pictures. I mean, most people, when they have a surgery or an injury or something, they take pictures of it. So I wonder if she took pictures of her face being red and swollen, and I kind of wonder if those are some of the pictures she used claiming that Johnny hurt her. So that was very intriguing to me. This nurse said Amber admitted to drug use. Like we said yesterday, Amber admitted to being addicted to cocaine and liquor, which is oddly the same. Alcohol and cocaine is the same thing that she's saying Johnny was fueled on all the time. So that is pretty much everything in her cross from Johnny's legal team. Now, the second witness that they called for day 13 was Michael Spindler. Now, Michael Spindler is a forensic accountant. He's been doing that since 1990, and before that he did like audits and stuff. So he's really smart with money and forensic and accountant and finding where the money went and everything. He said that with his investigation, Johnny Depp lost earnings of about $40 million because of the op-ed. He said that in his analysis investigation thing that he did, he took the testimony from Jack Wiggum, who said that he already negotiated a contract. They didn't do the contract, but he negotiated it with Disney already, and they were going to give Johnny $22.5 million for Pirates 6. So that's $22.5 million that's gone right there. And he also calculated in Johnny's bookings from the year before the op-ed come out. So he took 2017, all his bookings from there, and 2018 there was nothing, so he calculated it like that. And he said on a solid year, like the base earnings for Johnny is $17 million a year. So $17 million plus the $22.5 million, that is what? I'm really bad at math. 22, 39, I think. $39 million. And he said roughly $40 million. So that sounds about right to me. He also talked about the divorce and how Amber wanted $14 million at first. Amber wanted $14 million and she wanted it all tax-free. She wanted Johnny to pay all the taxes on it. And Johnny actually did pay all the taxes on it. But he gave her $7 million. But after he paid all the taxes, it was around $14 million. So, let's go ahead and get into the cross for this witness. All right, so Amber's legal team started asking questions. I believe it was Mr. Rottenborn or the other dude who asked these questions. So Amber's lawyer said, you understand that this case is about Amber's op-ed and the op-ed alone, right? He said, this is not about anything else that Amber has ever said or ever done. It's about the op-ed and the op-ed alone. So he's basically saying, yeah, Amber might have said that Johnny hit her. She might have got a restraining order. She might have done all these horrible things. But this case is about the op-ed and the op-ed alone. So those three statements, that's all this case is about. Nothing else matters. Well, if that's the point, then why are they even talking? I mean, I don't know. Whatever. Nothing else matters, he said. So he keeps saying, you're not looking at the fact that the son called Johnny a wife beater, right? You're not looking at the evidence that came out in the UK trial, right? You're not looking at Johnny's drug and alcohol abuse. You're not taking into consideration his worsening movies prior to the op-ed. He was claiming that Johnny's box office value was going down and down and down all these years before the op-ed. He said, you're not taking into consideration the son calling him a wife beater and the son, but like when he said that, I'm like, well, the son only called him a wife beater because of Amber's op-ed. So, I mean, yeah, I guess you not take that into consideration, but they only called Johnny a wife beater because of Amber's op-ed that she wrote about Johnny. And the son calling Johnny a wife beater just proves Johnny's case that everybody knew who she was talking about in her op-ed. So she didn't have to say his name because she's trying to say, well, I didn't say his name. He didn't have to. And the son calling him a wife beater proves that. So they then spoke about Pirates 6 and said that he basically just took Mr. Wiggum's word for it, that there was ever going to even be a Pirates 6 and Johnny was going to even be in it. He said that he may or may not have been in Pirates 6. He also said that Johnny might not have even gotten the role for Pirates for a different reason. And if that was the case, then it's not Amber's fault, right? Okay. He kept talking over the witness. Like, every time the witness tried to speak, Mr. Rottenborn would talk over him and just being really shitty, real aggressive, not, like, badgering him, not letting him speak. And he kept trying to explain, and he just kept saying, no, yes or no. Just yes or no is all I need. So he was trying his best to control the witness, something that Ms. Bearhoff is absolutely horrible about. But he said, you can't name a single TV show or movie that Johnny lost because of Amber, right? And I don't know why nobody's talking about Fantastic Beasts, because Johnny was absolutely in that, and they absolutely asked him to step back from that movie because of Amber and her op-ed. So Why is no one bringing that up? His role as Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts. I don't know why no one is bringing that up. Is it because they still paid him, maybe? Let him keep all the money anyway, but still took him out of the movie? Is that why? Because he didn't lose funds? It's still losing a role, and it's still, like, detrimental to your reputation to be asked to step out of a movie that you were already paid for. I mean, that's embarrassing. And why aren't they talking about that? But after this witness's cross, Johnny Depp rested his case. So we have been 4 weeks and 1.25 days on where Johnny had the playing field. And now it is Amber's turn to be on offense. It's Amber's turn with the ball. It's her playing field now. And the first thing she did was have her lawyers motion to strike and try to just wipe this whole thing, and she wins. So that was a little ridiculous, but let's talk about that. So the first thing Amber did was Mr. Rottenborn stood up and started his argument by asking the court to strike Johnny's case pretty much entirely. He said that there are 2 sentences in the op-ed that Amber wrote that Johnny is suing over. One is 2 years ago, she became the face of domestic violence and faced the culture's wrath or whatever. And he said that's actually a true statement. And it's a true statement because 2 years ago, she did go in and she did get a restraining order, and she did become the face of domestic abuse because she went in and got a restraining order. So he's basically saying because she went in and got a restraining order against Johnny, she became a face for domestic abuse. So that is actually true. So we should, she shouldn't be in trouble for that because it's actually true. But the situation is, even back then, she shouldn't have been the face of whatever because she was lying then, is what, Johnny's whole case is. She was lying then, and he never touched her. He never hit her ever. So that is his argument, and theirs is, well, even if he didn't hit her, she still became the face of domestic abuse by going in there and getting a restraining order. So that statement is technically true. He then said that Johnny did, in fact, abuse Amber. He said that they acknowledged that there is a dispute about Johnny abusing Amber physically, but Johnny, his expert witness Shannon Curry, and Johnny himself testified that abuse can come in several different forms, and verbal abuse is a form of abuse. And he said that Johnny even testified that his mother would verbally abuse him and call him one-eye, and sometimes the verbal abuse was worse than the physical abuse. So he is taking Johnny's testimony of his mother and saying because of this, he's basically saying that verbal abuse is abuse, and he's saying it out of his own mouth. And we can prove that Johnny Depp has verbally abused Amber, and that can be proven by him yelling in the audio, calling her names and things like that. And that is verbal abuse. So even if Johnny verbally abused Amber even one time, then everything should go out the window. Amber should win, and judgment should be given to Amber. That was his argument. But what about we're not really taking into account that we're not talking about verbal abuse. We're talking about physical abuse. Her saying she had bruises and he hit her all those times, and saying that she became the face of domestic abuse because of her getting in the restraining order with the bruise on her face. But now we're talking about verbal abuse. Like, they're kind of trying to split the hair a little bit. So he said that basically setting aside any physical abuse or any evidence of their physical abuse that Johnny did to Amber, which is overwhelming, which is absolutely ridiculous because it is not overwhelming. I think the evidence that he did not abuse Amber physically is overwhelming. So he said there is so much evidence of verbal abuse, and this is all evidence while Johnny Depp controls the playing field, and he cannot overcome that. Johnny cannot overcome the fact that he verbally abused Amber. So if Johnny ever physically, verbally, psychologically, or emotionally abused Amber even one time, then Amber wins, and judgment of $100 million should go to Amber. I was like, this guy is fucking kidding me, right?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay. So that is what his argument was. He basically wanted to win without even putting on their case at all. He said they don't have to put on their case. Johnny proved her case with his own self. So they should win and everybody should go home. That's what he wanted today. He said then the third defamatory statement was the headline about she spoke out against sexual violence. And that should be stricken as well because Amber did not write the headline. He said that Amber didn't write the title, so it should be stricken. It's not her fault. She didn't write the title, which is very funny to me because isn't Amber suing Johnny for something Adam Waldman said? So can we say, well, Johnny didn't say that, somebody else did, so it's not his fault? Well, she's doing that. She's saying, I didn't write the title, so someone else did, so it's not my fault. I mean, it's pretty much the same exact thing. She adopted that statement as her own. She put her name on it. She retweeted it. She posted on her Instagram like, look, this is what I wrote. Go look. So she adopted that pretty much is what his case is. Johnny's lawyer then stood up and argued and was arguing with Mr. Rottenborn, and Mr. Rottenborn said, well, can I finish my argument? And Johnny's lawyer, Ben Chu, he said, oh yeah, I can't wait to oppose this. And everybody kind of like had a giggle about that. Mr. Rottenborn then said that Johnny cannot prove that Amber acted with malice at all, which is ridiculous because he absolutely proved, in my opinion, that Amber acted with a ton of malice. So the time came for Ben Chu to then oppose this, and he said that they were expecting this motion, and Johnny has presented multiple credible witnesses, tons of documents, evidence proving that Amber did act with malice, but she's also going the extra mile and showing that she abused him. She's the abuser in this courtroom, not Johnny. Mr. Chu absolutely crushed it, in my opinion. He went through the entire case. He slammed the shit out of Amber and all the evidence against her. He talked about her lying about donating the money. He talked about the ACLU basically being a co-conspirator and writing it with her and targeting Johnny. He talked about all of the evidence against Amber, that she's an abuser as well. He even said that she, not even talking about the ACLU, but she lied to the sick kids at the children's hospital and didn't give them the money. But she was telling everybody all over the place that she donated it to make herself look good. Like, he crushed it. And then after his case, Mr. Rottenborn stood up and said, I can only imagine that Mr. Chu wrote that speech for someone outside the courtroom because he didn't even address any of my points. I think he addressed everything and completely crushed you. So they continued on and off, and he said that Mr. Chu did say that they've proven their case. Now let's hear from Ms. Heard. And I agree. The judge then said she did her ruling. She said that she reviewed all the evidence the night before. She's taken into consideration both of their arguments, and she ruled on Johnny Depp's behalf. She said that the second and third defamatory statement, there is evidence in favor of Johnny Depp, and if there is considerable evidence, the jury should be the ones to weigh it so it survives a motion to strike. She said the evidence shows that the statement was made about Johnny Depp, and it was published, and the statement was made by the defendant, Amber Heard. The statement was false, and the defendant made the statement knowing it was false. She made it so recklessly as to the amount to willful disregard for the truth. So she said that the weight of that evidence should be up to the fact finders, the jury, and they should hear it. So, nope, we're not throwing the case out. And Amber has tried this like 8 times probably by now. The first statement, though, she said she is going to take under advisement because Amber's tweet is part of the evidence in that, and that evidence has not been submitted yet, so she hasn't been able to see it yet, so she's not going to rule on it because it's premature. So that makes a lot of sense. And this judge, in my opinion, is a pretty good judge. She seems really fair, really nice. She's making sure everybody has the same amount of time, and she just seems really fair, especially with all the objections over and over, letting them come up to the stand and approach over and over and talk about things. She seems like a good judge. So they went to lunch and they came back, and Amber had to put on her case. Now, she only put on one witness so far, and her first witness was a Dr. Dawn Hughes, and she is a clinical forensic psychologist. She practices in New York City, and this lady sat there for hours and just said that Johnny Depp is obsessing, controlling, violent, blah, 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 blah. And what I thought was funny is this woman sat there, and when she was giving her credentials for being an expert witness, she sat there and said that you can't take the patient's word for anything because people lie to their therapist. You can't just take their word for it. But then, like, hour later, whatever, she was talking about Johnny and literally naming off all these things that he did to Amber as if she was in the room. And she literally was acting like Amber's mother or something, trying to defend her. It was ridiculous. Her testimony was shit. You could tell she was completely biased. I'm excited and intrigued to see the cross examination tomorrow. She said that Amber could not work. She could not act in roles without being terrified because Johnny would tell her, I have eyes everywhere and I have eyes down there. So Johnny would tell her, you don't show your tits and ass. You don't need to show your tits and ass. Tits and ass, she said. She conducted a forensic psychological evaluation of Amber Heard. I think she said she was a total of 29 hours. Amber's first witness is describing, 29 hours. She was describing abusive behaviors, yelling, screaming, name-calling, manipulation, telling Johnny he was washed up and fat old man, blah, blah, blah. Those are abusive behaviors that she was describing. Oddly, she was fucking describing Amber Heard to a T. She was explaining all these abusive behaviors, but she was describing Amber Heard to a T. So I thought that was a little funny. She said that Amber's report of Johnny Depp was consistent with what they know of partner violence. It was coercive control and surveillance behaviors, psychological aggression. Amber demonstrated clear psychological effects from the statement made by Johnny through his attorney, Adam Waldman. So didn't they just say that Amber didn't write the title, so therefore it's not her fault and we should throw it out? But they're trying to sue Johnny over statements made by his attorney. That's not even him saying that stuff. So where's the line going to be drawn here, Amber? So she said that Amber demonstrated clear psychological effects from the statements made by Johnny Depp through another human being. And it affected her emotionally and psychologically. End quote. She diagnosed Amber with having PTSD, on the contrary to all the other psychologists saying she did not. Last week, Dr. Shannon Curry, which I do want to go over her testimony with you guys because it was amazing. This lady is so incredibly smart. She was an expert witness for Johnny. She is so smart. I literally felt like she was teaching me a psychology class. She was so smart. She wasn't even reading from any notes. She just knew all this stuff. It was amazing. So she basically said the opposite. She said that Amber did not have PTSD. She said Amber had borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder. She said Amber is extremely viable to be making things up, exaggerating, and to lie. She didn't show any signs of PTSD, and she said that this lady, Dawn Hughes, Miss whatever, she said that she did several tests that determine if Amber exaggerates or malingering. And she said Amber scored a 0 on all those tests. I have such a hard time believing that at all. Amber scored a 0 on every test that would determine if she would exaggerate or not. Are you kidding me? Are you sure she scored a 0? That I don't believe it at all. She said that Dr. Shannon Curry said that Amber scored a 98% range of exaggeration. Now, okay, hold on. Now, the other doctor, Dr. Shannon Curry, said that Amber scored a 98% in the range of exaggeration or malingering. Like Amber's, and I remember she said that's 98 out of 100. So Amber is very viable to exaggerate and make things up. And this woman said she does not agree because Shannon used a certain test that you shouldn't even be using anymore, and it's in the manual. I can't wait to hear the cross for that, so that's going to be interesting for me. She said that Johnny engaged in severe acts of physical abuse, and Amber engaged in mild acts of physical abuse. So Johnny did all these severe acts that Amber told her of, even though you're not supposed to just take the patient's word. But Amber only did mild acts. Punching him, cutting his finger off, hitting him all the time, throwing stuff at his face. Those are mild acts. But him calling her flabby ass, that is severe. Severe, you guys. Johnny engaged in severe psychological abuse of Amber. And Amber only engaged in mild psychological abuse of Johnny. Him calling her a cunt, that is severe psychological abuse. Her calling him a cunt and him a fat old man, washed up, his career's over, bad father, those are mild, okay? Mild. She said that Johnny had obsessive jealousy and control issues, which puts Amber in the increased danger range. Which is funny because almost every other witness beforehand said that Amber was the one who was incredibly insecure and really jealous if Johnny had to go work, and she didn't want him gone, and she was afraid, and so that kind of is the opposite. This lady also said that Amber was subjected to sexual violence, where Johnny was subjected to no sexual violence, which is, again, just Amber's word that she is taking, which she said you shouldn't do in the beginning of her testimony. She said Amber has a large startle response, which we all saw when they played the video of Johnny Depp slamming the cabinets, and Amber jumped and acted like she was scared to death from the loud responses, but then she was seen minutes later laughing with her lawyers. I don't buy that. And if Amber was so scared to death of Johnny slamming cabinets, then why was she filming him? And why did she laugh afterwards? But she has a large startle response. This lady testified that Johnny is using horrible language towards Amber, and when Amber got up to leave, Johnny kicked her in the back. She was talking about when they were on the plane and he supposedly kicked her in the back. She said he was using all this horrible language, and when she got up to leave, he kicked her in the back. She didn't say allegedly, she didn't say apparently, she said he kicked her in the back as if she was there and she saw it with her own 2 eyeballs. She also said that after the plane, Amber went to a hotel because she was afraid. But Johnny paid for that hotel and had her go there because he didn't want her around him. But we heard testimony from her former assistant saying that she was drinking, laughing out by the pool, and it seemed very conspiratorial to her. And she saw that her and her friends looked like they were planning something. So Amber's former assistant said that. But this lady said she went to that hotel because she was afraid for her life. This lady spoke about texts that Johnny sent to various people saying that he was drunk, out of control, or calling Amber names. She said then Johnny then said that he might have just playfully tapped her with his foot. Okay, so yeah, she went back to the plane incident, him kicking her in the back, and she said, Johnny said that he might have just tried to playfully tap her with his foot. And I do remember he did say that she was being so mean, and we heard testimony that she was picking a fight with him the night before that. She was being super mean. He tried to like playfully tap her with his foot, and that turns into kicking her in the back, which I believe Johnny on this, and I'll tell you guys why. I had a friend when I was younger, and we were partying one night, we were drinking, and she got in a fight with her boyfriend. She was hitting him in the face over and over and over. He pushed her away from him. She fell and like fell on a table. And then all of a sudden she told everybody that he body slammed her through a table. So I know exactly what they're talking about. I've seen a woman do it to a man before with my own eyes and heard it with my own ears. So I do believe Johnny on this situation, because Amber, from what I've seen from her, she seems like that kind of person. She said that Amber did call Johnny very bad names and insulted his fatherhood, but she was very ashamed and remorseful about that. So we should just forgive her about that, and we shouldn't talk about that. It shouldn't be evidence, because she's remorseful about the name calling. She said that Amber did engage in yelling and screaming and throwing things, but it was minor. She did say that Amber did punch Johnny once, but it was in defense of her sister, and that does not make her a perpetrator. Okay, what about all the other times Amber punched Johnny and admitting to punching him first and hitting him and all that shit? I can't wait for the cross-examination of this lady. She said Johnny would throw Amber on the bed and try to have sex with her, and then he would get angry that he couldn't perform and blame it on her. And I'm like, where was I? Where was that? I've never heard that before in my life. She said that it was in Dr. Jacobs' notes about Amber. She said Dr. Connell Cohen was very concerned for Amber's safety, and he tried to teach her how to act around Johnny so Johnny wouldn't hurt her, which is absolutely ridiculous. And isn't that the therapist that Johnny hated and was always talking about how that guy was always just staring at her tits and being her yes man and making the relationship worse? I think that's him. She said they were very concerned about her safety, yet they never called anyone and reported it. But yet, it was part of their job to do so. So, she also said Amber doesn't have any personality disorders whatsoever. But I'll tell you, after hearing Dr. Shannon Curry's testimony, I agree with her, because she was incredibly smart, and she was able to say exactly every symptom that Amber has, and it's exactly like, what's in the manual. So, and that lady seemed way smarter than this lady, no offense. Another therapist noted that there was a mutual abuse, but of course she said she didn't agree. So there was another therapist who said there was a mutual abuse between Johnny and Amber. And this lady said she does not agree with that. Only Johnny was abusive. And every time Amber abused him, it was okay and not abuse. I think. It's not abuse when Amber did it. She said Dr. Anderson said she saw bruises on Amber's face. And if she saw that, she should have done something. And for some reason, she did nothing. And if that was her patient, she would have done something. Well, maybe because she didn't believe her, maybe? I don't know. She said there was no indication Amber had an eating disorder, but the other doctor said Amber actually told her she had an eating disorder, so there's your indication right there, I guess. And, I mean, that's pretty much it. Everything was Johnny's fault. Johnny's this horrible monster. Amber is this perfect little angel. And everything she does is minor. Everything she did to Johnny was okay. And Johnny's just this monster. So she didn't abuse him, even though she was punching and all this stuff. Like, that's not abuse when Amber did it, but Johnny's the abusive one. Her testimony was a complete joke, you guys. It was a joke. And even the other therapists were saying good and bad things about both parties. This lady, basically, Amber is a total saint and Johnny is the devil. That's it. It was absolutely absurd and ridiculous. I can't wait for cross-examination of this woman. And that was it. That was the entire day. So we are going to stop right here. And I'm going to, I have to go to work, but I'm going to edit this video and try to get it out to you guys as soon as possible. And listen to the trial for tomorrow as well. And get that out to you guys as soon as I can as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I gave you some pretty good highlights and a rundown of the what happened in court. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It really helps so much. And if you like videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would love to have you as part of the family. And I will see you guys in the next video. And we will talk about day 13. Is it 13? No, 14. We will talk about day 14 tomorrow evening. And I hope you guys have an awesome day. And I will see you guys tomorrow in the next video. And remember, guys, in a world where you can be anything, please be kind to each other. Love you guys. Bye.